Rotate device lock. Well, in that case, I'm going to just rotate it around and just plop it there because there's absolutely no purpose. That's going to show up in portrait mode and people hate portrait mode. Oh god, it's all gone wrong before it's even started. And now no one can see the device I'm actually working on. Oh, I wish I had a working tripod and I didn't just leave it at home. Oh, it's okay, yeah. That's close as you're gonna get. Or maybe I just put it on the floor. Close enough. I guess that's good enough. Oh, finally I have a viewer, so I can start. Right. Cool. So, one Microsoft console, Xbox system, you know the drill. So let's take this thing to bits and touch up that solder because it's not going to do it itself, and I'm incredibly lazy. I'm not going to make a video about it, so I'm just going to go live and do it now. Am I clout chasing? No. I just want to get somewhere in life. I want to show that I can do things. Yes. Everything is good. I have absolutely no clue what I am going to do, but I'm doing something. So, that's all you need to know, even though I've now gone back to 0 viewers and I'm talking to myself. All the joys of live streaming as a small creator. Isn't that lovely? No one gives the slightest damn about you and the algorithm smothers you into smithereens. I would mention the name of the other app that Lewis Rossman does things about, but I'll get banned immediately, so there's no point. Oh my god, this thing is so heavy. It's absolute beast of engineering. It's basically just a computer, a really small computer. Right, let's take this thing further to bits. I need a small screwdriver for this now. Don't need this one. Oh geez, how am I going to get down in there? I'm not going to get down in there, am I? No. No, I'm not. I'm not getting in there at all. Can't I take the hard drive out, though? Do I have to take the disk drive out to take the hard drive out? How does that work? We'll come back to that bit. And IDE, power, I meant Molex. Oh my god, I'm forgetting all my connectors now. I need to go back to school for technology. I don't know how anything works. Alright. Screwdriver's too big. Lovely. I'm going to have to go back off and fetch a screwdriver and resume. And I can kiss any viewers I had within that moment goodbye, because no one would have stayed during that moment. Ah, but we're saved. The T10 does fit. Even though I believe it's supposed to be a T15, but who's gonna cross-check that? Who's gonna be that angry that I used a T10 instead of a T15? Any purists are gonna complain about that? I wish I had viewers. Okay, that's the HDD 8GB Seagate U10, something like that. Oh, the DVD drive isn't even plugged in. Oh, it's because there's no PCB inside the DVD drive. So that's gone somewhere. Don't know where. It's gone somewhere though. Need to get this out of the case anyway. Jeez, that broke, whatever that was. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Or that. Definitely don't need that. Quick safety advice, obviously, do not touch the power supply in a Microsoft Xbox, especially if it's recently been plugged in, you will be zapped. But this one is fine, it's not been plugged in forever. It's basically... No, actually no, it was plugged in last night, ignore me. Oops. So we're going to be very careful around this power supply. Pop you in Discord or share channel, remember, it's always good. Oh, thanks. I kind of need some viewers. You're not showing up. It still shows up as 0 people. Are you in incognito mode, or are you... Is your client against YouTube so badly that they've decided to completely shadow ban you so that you don't show up? But it's a miracle that someone actually stuck around and I went to go fetch a screwdriver. I really should have all this stuff on tap before I even remotely think about starting, but I never have plans. Never think things through. Where are the screws? Damn it. Microsoft has been basically terrible since day one. I would forgive their older products, but even their older products... Jesus, I'm so close to the power supply. Even their older products are just a pain in the bum to take apart. Especially with the screws so close to the exposed power supply. Who thought this was a good idea? And I replaced the power supply when I didn't need to. So I threw away a working PSU. Lovely. And this isn't magnetic, so I can't pick up the screw. I'm amazed the acetone hasn't actually destroyed the little plastic things the heatsinks clip to. It's a miracle. That's all the screws. Oh no, of course there's 2 by the AV port. Everyone likes AV. I think. There are some people that don't. Disconnect the electric fan. Don't need that. I can't even get this fan out. This fan has never been cleaned because I just can't get it out. What does that say? YouTube doesn't like me sometimes and refresh updates the numbers. Yeah, I don't know about that. Whatever. It's just a number. Don't care. Besides, I'm looking forward to the replay anyway. I just want to do things whilst I fix things. So, oh, gee, catching it on everything now. Okay, let's get the deadly piece of electrical equipment away from me. Don't need that. That can go on the floor. Over there. How the bloody hell did the PCB go out of the DVD drive? I know I took it out, but I thought I put it back in. Evidently not. Oh, sorry, I already read that. I hate the fact that it doesn't auto-rotate. That has been an annoying feature since day one. Oh, jeez. Oh, this chip is tiny. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, that isn't good. How big is my tip? That's not going to fit. Don't cut that. Oh, this is really bad. This, of course, is corroded capacitor. Mildly corroded capacitor, I should add. The solder is bigger than the legs on this chip. This is a job for a micro pencil. Nice vertical portrait video, that's the wrong way. Oh, is it? So I'm basically showing up sideways is what you're saying. That's probably why there's no one bothering to watch. Oh, okay. I need a fan in here or something, but I don't. I'm unprepared. I don't have anything like that. Let's just put some solder on here and look busy. That did absolutely nothing. What else could I do in this Xbox? 128 RAM gigabyte upgrade? Nah, let's not do that. Don't have any chips. Really what I need to do is I need to tidy up the capacitor leakage that's been residued on the board. It hasn't destroyed the front panel connectors, but it has messed up something on the it's definitely messed up something on the AV, not AV, the temperature sensor. So I don't know what that's going to do. I could just add a big ball of solder and just go wee 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 wee, but that's not a good idea. Because I don't have wick, I just realised. I have no way of getting rid of the solder. Other than maybe taking it off with the iron. But that ain't going to work. I could just desolder the chip, because I'm pretty sure the chip itself is going to be bad. I think it's probably a good idea to do that. Because then I can touch up the pads without the chip being there and then hot air it back in place. Loud noises, warning. Right, I don't know what temperature this is set to. 100 degrees. Well, let's crank that up to 311. Same as, no, that's too high. There we go, 311. Wait for that to warm up, which should take a lot less time than the other iron. Take care of the thermal paste, I don't need to take the heat sinks off. Hopefully. I do need to glue this little plastic bit back on the IDE port because that broke off, unfortunately. It's not good. Really not good. None of these caps look like they're leaking or bulged. I think this one's got the solid state electrolytics here, which haven't leaked, which is good. But the Power Store aerogel certainly spilt its guts all over the board, and it's going to cause it a very, very quick death. A very slow electrical death with fire and a trident and a hand grenade. I should probably not say the names of that because I'll get banned. The correct word to use is phaser. Add a little bit of flux, even though that's not going to do absolutely anything. Still watching. Oh, right, fair enough. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to use one of the screws to push the flux out because I am a resourceful person. Unless I've plugged up the... Have I plugged up the flux thing? Flux dispenser. What's the flux? You'll be all over the board. That's how we wipe that off. I really, really wish I had some isopropyl alcohol right now, but I don't, because I'm not sponsored by anyone. This video would have been sponsored by isopropylalcohol.com. Check them out. Promo code YIMON. It's almost coming out. I need to push. Hey, there we go. Add a little bit of that solid state, and a little bit more. Always have to use appropriate Rossmann level flux. Put the lid back on so it doesn't harden. Oh, lovely, lovely. Yay, I've got 4 likes now. People are actually watching. This is brilliant. Finally, I've kicked off. The algorithm has picked me up. Now I'm doing things. Why is this so loud? When I put my hand on it, it quietens down, but I need my hands. I don't have a pair of tweezers. Oh yeah, I do. Conveniently have this medical kit to the side, which has plastic tweezers, but as soon as the chip's hot enough, I can whip it away without melting tweezers over. These won't work. Oh, this board smells terrible. It actually smells of fish, and there's caps everywhere, so I can't aim this too hard, or else. Can't aim it too much, or else we'll have problems. Caps will start exploding like it's the 4th of July, and I have to take cover. The heat is actually spreading through the board. I just burnt myself on one of the power supply connector pins. How many layers is an original Xbox board, if anyone knows? The heatsink's nice and cool. Rest my hand on it. Actually, probably a good idea to move the air around rather than focusing on a specific part, because then that causes popcorning, and everyone hates board popcorning. Can I just... Oh, there we go. Yay! It's come off. Yippee! And now I can bring in the plastic tweezers. Right. When in doubt, whip out the hot air station. Just apply a really heavy weight on top, but rubber. Cool, so that's now desoldered, so I can touch up the pins. Only problem is I've now forgotten the chip orientation. I can't do anything, can I? But that is the point of learning, and I'm going to burn that capacitor if I'm not careful. You start off with crappy, cheap things, and then as as time progresses, I'll eventually be able to afford an Atom station, and then I could be cool. Formed. Assume that they're 2mm, just a ground and power plane. Oh, of course. Well, every board has to have a ground layer. It's normally the bit that goes bang when things go really bad internally. How do I know that? I've had plenty of internal board shorts. I hate this soldering. I need something really heavy but fabricy to drown the sound out. But it doesn't have a fan in it, it's got a compressor, so it's a completely different type of hot air station. Anyway, let me inspect the chip we just removed. That stuck to my finger. So, This tiny little bugger right here was responsible for causing my Xbox to just completely die. And I bet this chip is like 9p. Or 91p. Let's adjust it for inflation. I would get the plastic tweezers involved, but they'll melt, so we're going to just hold it down with a screwdriver. I'd love a microscope. This is actually miserable. Right, what do I do? I've just bridged all the pins doing that. There we go, the other side went better. Let's try this again. Okie doke. I don't actually know what I'm doing. Just gotta be careful. There we go. I've unshorted all the pins. Congratulations, I've done something now. So what I'm gonna do now is target the other side, I think, because that side I believe got the most corrosion. From that, no, that's melting. That's no. I need something metal. I need a flat piece of metal. Or just a PCB. But I don't have either. All I'm surrounded with is plastic. And I've dropped the chip. Where did the chip go? So this mat is clearly not heat proof, which is bad. I guess I could just do it on the top of the iron because that's hot. And it's made of metal. Oh yes, look at that. There we go, now they're all shiny again. Now the only problem is, I don't know how this goes back on, and I don't have any reference pictures. Does anyone happen to have an original Xbox motherboard on hand that they could just pull out for 2 seconds and just give the reference on what the orientation of this chip is? I don't think there's any text on the top. I don't have any IPA. Make that more visible. Maybe that's because I'm looking at it upside down. Alright, I could just clean it with a sponge. There we go. Okay, I see a 2A and some other text, but I do clearly see a 2A. So does the 2A go on this side, or does the 2A go on that side? And while I'm at it, I'm going to touch up the soldering joints on these little transistors here. But wouldn't I need an actual block of solder to do that? Oh, this is dreadful. I don't even know if this stuff is lead-free or leaded solder. I could just be panicking over nothing. I'll just blow every 3 seconds. There's a stupid capacitor that's in the way. That's annoying. My phone should not vibrate while I'm live. I thought that was supposed to be a feature. I really need to go back and learn the basic fundamentals of soldering again, because this really isn't working. I need an actual tip cleaner rather than a wet sponge. That's frustrating. Oh my god. Oh god. I can't do this. This is really bad. Now I've just bridged all the pins doing that. And then like the chip, I can't get it back off. Oh, I wish I had wick. Why did I use all my wick up? Yeah, that's completely bridged. Now why am I trying the other side? I'm just going to bridge that one as well. Do I have anything here that's like a isopropyl wipe or something? No. I can't clean the flux off either. Oh, this is delightful. I can't solder. I like to act like I can, but I can't. I can do extremely basic soldering, like through hole, but SMD, I'm hopeless. Yeah, so this chip came off, and there's no way of putting it back on, because I don't have the orientation, nor do I have clean pins, because they're all now covered in solder. I can't get the solder off the iron, because it just keeps congealing when I put it on the sponge. Why is the board vibrating whenever I touch it behind? Do it from the other side, that's clearer. Okay. Getting somewhere. That better not be a trace I just lifted. Oh no, it's just a tail. Baby steps. Small steps at a time. This can take the next 40 years, this could take the next 3 minutes. There is, of course, that capacitor. C9F2, which is linked into that thermal sensor. It wasn't shorted when I checked it. This has definitely had no prior repair attempt. Hospital stuff at 100% alcohol. That's the thing, is I thought that this medical pack would at least have a isopropyl alcohol wipe in it, but it doesn't. That's annoying. What I really need is wick to get rid of the leftover solder. That is the most important part right now. And a smaller iron, like a really, really, really tiny little one, that I can really get into those connector, micro pencil. We're talking like, really get solder on the actual tip, and then apply. And just move gently back and forth. Well, that is a tiny component. I almost knocked that off. Why are things so small? Why, Microsoft? Why do you have to make things so tiny? What happened to the days when everything was big? Big internally and big externally. This is irritating. I was about to say, oh wow, I've touched up the two transistors at the top. No, they weren't even dirty to begin with. I don't even have my little toothbrush anymore. I had a spare toothbrush I used for cleaning things with. And now I'm angry because these capacitors down at the bottom have lots of excess solder sticking off of them. This crap has to be lead free to stagnate and behave like that. It must be, because it's definitely not the Kester stuff I've got, because that's in a reel in the shed and I can't be bothered to go and get it. It's better than nothing, I suppose. It really is just this capacitor on the end that's annoying me. So corroded, there's just no heat can transfer and therefore no solder. Why couldn't they have just put a battery in here? Why did it have to be a cap? Would it kill them to put a battery in here? Or I could just buy a whole new console. That's on the list as well. That's an option. That's better. It's at least not all... It doesn't look neat by any means, but it's not congealed together anymore. Should I try and keep this chip, or should I just discard it and purchase a new one? Because I don't really think... Issues with these were caused by either the chip itself failing or just corrosion. I'm going to assume in this case it's probably the chip. I have cleaned it up a little bit. That's not too bad. Yes, I do need an ander here. I really do. I need some Xbox experts here. Experts. Funny. I can make jokes. Realistically, I think the problem here is the iron. The iron itself, and it's the equipment I'm using. Maybe if I could practice on slightly nicer things, that could probably improve my skills, but at the same time, a bad workman blames his tools, which basically means I'm at fault because I can't do anything. But really, at the same time, it is hard to do stuff like this with budget tools. But even if I'm given an Atten, it'll probably be really hard. Second-hand Xbox, yeah. Could get one. What are these holes for? Oh, these are for adding mod chips. It looks like I put a little connector there. I don't have to solder anything, just put a connector, pop in the chip, pop it off if I need to. We should be, well, I was going to say they should have put a connector there, no. Because that would just make things easier. Microsoft doesn't like making things easy. They like making things hard. Don't clip that either. Yeah. At this point, I just want to tidy it all up, but I don't have any wipes. Well, I have like tissue. I don't know if these are napkins or what these are. Oh, it's gotten bigger. Oh, it's really big. Okay, we'll just use this then. Oh no, now there's just paper in everywhere. I was about to say, oh, this is actually working, but no, it isn't. I need a brush, and I've just ruined this entire thing. This is awful. I shouldn't have even bothered. Could just remove the legs of the capacitor, but then again, at the same time, there's this corrosion on the bottom of the board that I don't quite like the look of. I don't think it's near any traces, it's like a screw hole. Yeah, if I peel these back, these are for the front panel. There's nothing there, which is good. I am there, yes, but I don't think it's schematics I need, it's just the orientation of a chip. I need a photograph up close, enhanced of that area. I don't need any schematics because I know where everything goes. Because there's this one thing I need to change over. It is literally just a basic chip swap. Actually, while we're at it, why don't we super glue the IDE port back together? I say that just as I've gotten rid of the super glue. I was just going to plug this in and see if it still works, and then I realised there's now solder everywhere. That's going to be a surefire way of destroying your device. So let's not plug it in. This is terrible. But at the same time, I suppose there are worse things out there, I guess. Could have set the house on fire, and I haven't done that. I don't think these plastic tweezers are a good thing. Where's that little chip gone? What's up here? Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. This tiny, tiny little chip. It doesn't give it justice, it's minuscule. Yeah, here's my finger, and that is the size of the chip. It's absolutely tiny, which isn't good news for me, because I'm not too good with micro-soldering. But then again, it could be worse, it could be an iPhone, and we all know how big iPhones are. Internally, I meant, not externally. They are tiny. But gives me all the more respect for the people that do this as a job, because it's like day in, day out. Got to do this. I could just put it back on like that. I don't know if that's the correct orientation or not, but I don't know. Could be. And I've got a cold, so excuse the strange nasal noises. Oh my god. Well, not using that because that's completely... I don't want to use that either. But then again, with the hot air on, I can probably neaten up the caps. Or blow them off. One of the two. And I'm backing off because it's too close to capacity. Yeah. Capped on tape. That's probably another thing I should invest in. Everyone needs capped on tape, but obviously I haven't got any. And my fingers are still crusted up with super glue from my previous project that I'm working on, which you may be able to see there. Right there. Here. There. That thing. And that was painful, but I managed to do it. This, on the other hand... I mean, the Xbox is my favourite console from that generation. I really do like its design, you know. The fact that this is effectively just a custom PC with fancy extra bits bolted onto it. But, yeah, it's so hard to fix. I'd much happily take a normal computer over this any day. We do have other computers, but they all need parts, and I don't have those parts, so we can't do those. I've got one computer that's incredibly destroyed, but it does now turn on at least, but it doesn't post, even with memory, so something's wrong in there. Nope, that is taking the heatsink off. I don't want to do that. At least you can make music with the heatsinks on the Xbox. They should become musical instruments, broken PCBs from Xbox, to make them instruments. I think the next time I'm going to bring a lot more things. I'm going to bring some brushes, I'm going to get some IPA in a big bottle again, I'm going to get lots and lots of things. We're going to get some actual wick this time. Probably going to invest in a new chip because I really did. Let's have a vote. Should I keep this little chip or should I just toss it in the bin? Because I can still buy these chips, it's not a biggie. But the thing is I don't really want to put it back on, because I'll put it back on backwards. And probably some schematics on the orientation of the chip. And another device, rather than just using the only device I have to actually record this to begin with. I need an actual thing. But in other words, let's put the motherboard aside real quick. Let's get the board out of the picture. Let's look at something else. Even though I didn't have a PCB in this, I'm gonna look at it anyway. Because I'm gonna double check everything, make sure the laser looks good and it's clean, and it's just... PCB I know is the problem. There's a little resistor that's burnt out. Not visually burnt out, but the wire inside is broken, so it's not making a connection anymore. Which is preventing the thing from detecting what parameters the drive has. Whether it's a master or a slave. Which I believe by default the Xbox, its DVD drive is a master and the hard drive is a slave. I'm not sure. Put that to one side. Get rid of the metal. Okay, that went somewhere. Right, how do you open this up? Oh, yeah, there's a little latch. Right. You gotta open them up. Ooh, belt. I believe the belt on here is good, but I'm gonna just double check the tension. It does look a wee bit used, but I think the belt tension is good. So, there's like a little latch that you'd split to take the tray all the way up. And where is that little latch? Maybe I don't even need to take that bit off. I can get to the actual pickup assembly just by taking these two screws out. People are probably thinking this is a very foolish idea because the laser is exposed, but there's not really much I can do about that. I can't actually cover the laser. Maybe in the factory they had little plastic things you can put over the pickup assembly, but where am I going to get those? And now it still won't come out. What's holding this in? Is there a wire or something? No, it just looks like a piece of gooey tape. Yeah, like a weird gooey thing holding it down. Oh no, it's these little rubbery vibration things. Well, how does one get the laser out of this anyways? Should the problem say I've got an issue with the laser, how do you even get the laser out? It's an awful idea. I do like how smooth the worm gear movement on this is. This is really, really smooth. Props to Samsung for that. That is a really, really smooth pickup head. Anyway, I'm putting that back together. At least the plastic on here hasn't crumbled like the Wii has, because usually at the back of the dryer there's two screws, and with the Wii it just crumbles to pieces. Dampers vibration. Oh, yeah. Does a very good job at it. My drive isn't that noisy. Yes. Yeah, let me put that back together before I break it, because Xbox lasers are expensive. Well, they're not really expensive, they don't exist. They've all been taken. But thankfully mine doesn't have an issue with the laser. And I need to pull the rest of the pickup head back to home. There we go. So on the bottom we've got this little PCB, which, can I take that out? Can, but I've just changed my mind. I don't want to anymore. I think I've broken it. Lovely. Right, let's not take that out ever again. So this little PCB obviously is the open and close thing, but what I like here is it's got little probe points that you can touch with a power supply to manually move the motor without the rest of the electronics needed, like this wire. This wire goes off to the PCB, which controls the eject motor. That's really all that's on this PCB. Just there's probably a chip or something on the other side that dictates where the momentum goes. This ribbon cable goes directly into here, which is the motor for the spindle. It's got screws. I can take that off maybe, unless it needs strict calibration, which is highly unlikely because I have not come across a DVD drive that needs to be refocused. This is just a computer drive, just a basic computer drive which is slightly modified. Oh yeah, look at that, nice and loose. So that's disconnect this connector here, which I'll probably do after I've loosened it with the PCB. Hey, lovely, lovely, lovely. Yeah, so this is the motor for the spindle. Very not stiff, which is what we want. Bearings all sound good, and this ribbon cable is just soldered onto this PCB, which goes to this connector, which goes to the worm gear, which moves the motor assembly back and forth, which is really, really smooth. Though I do feel like I want to add some white lithium grease when I go to fix the DVD drive, which probably won't be on camera, so there's that. So let's put this motor back into the drive. Yeah, that went right in without a problem. And now the ice cream man has come to make my life, my concentration harder. But realistically, I don't really need to concentrate when I'm putting screws in, because this is a screw. The most simple, basic piece of primate technology that still exists today, along with the wheel, the pivot, and the scissor. And something else that I forgot the name of. The rock. I think we do still use the rock. Put the worm gear cable back in, there we go, and then this other ribbon cable, this little one here, just goes straight into the laser assembly, so that it has its own wire that just does all the lasery things, which is good. So these two go to motor controllers, which is probably a good idea not to leave these disconnected, because the last time I left the PCB off of a hard drive, it decided to catch fire. Because apparently they need load, and if they don't have load, they just pump 12 volts through themselves and commit suicide. Which is a really weird... I don't know, well, who designed that shit? Who says that we should design it this way, so it fails? It's a bad idea, so don't... There's this little grip thing here, which holds the disc. Probably so it doesn't slide around when this rotates, which is a good thing, because the last thing you want is the DVD doing other things while this is rotating. And this just does backwards and forwards motion, it picks up the laser and it just goes, I'm looking at your movie, or your game, or your music disc, or your floppy, because it's the same sort of technology in floppy drives. This is really, really, this is therapeutic, I like doing this. But let's not do that, because that will probably break the motor. We don't want to do that. Let's put the DVD drive back together. Cover that up. There's a little plastic thing on the top which has a magnet in, which clamps down when the drive is shut, so that it sandwiches the disc so that nothing slides around when it moves at high speed, which I believe the Xbox, can anyone correct me on this, is 52 times DVD-ROM speed? Oh, it's not a burner drive, is it? Or is it a burner? Is this a burner? I'm not sure. No. You can't burn CDs. That would defeat the purpose of copy protection. Microsoft aren't that stupid. Or are they? That's on backwards. And just like that, it's just a normal DVD drive, really. I mean, the only slight difference is, of course, the bezel, because it says Xbox, so there's no button. And the connector's not IDE, the connector's some weird messed up connector which carries the eject and other signals. You can't use this drive in a PC, I don't think. Even if you do adapt this little yellow wire to be just power, it carries the eject signals. You'd have to eject it from Windows, but even then I don't think it would even let you do that. Could you eject the drive in the dashboard? I know you can on the 360, but is it the same way on the original? I don't know, I've not looked into this. Let's put this back together. Come back to that later. Is my Xbox doomed? Nah. Only at the moment. I don't have the adequate tools or a spare part to replace it with, but I think at the moment it did all work, roughly. I can get a donor board to get the other caps off of, maybe, because there's plenty of those lying around that have been eaten by a capacitor plague. But hopefully that capacitor has survived. Oh, shoot, what was that? I just felt plastic splinter. Oh dear. Something has gone wrong. Let's quickly take this apart and assess what happened. Have I put the wrong screws in the wrong order? This has never been a problem before. Yeah. Sort of. No, I've just lightly damaged the plastic. It screws into metal, thankfully, because the screw hole's on the top cover. So I've just basically just cracked a little bit of plastic. That's not important by any means of the imagination. So we're good. We haven't broken anything, so let's put that back in first. Yeah, it's not going to look pretty, but whatever. This is inside the console. No one's ever going to see it. I don't know why it just says rotate device with a padlock symbol. I have rotated the device. Unless everyone's looking at this sideways, which then I apologise, and this will be immediately deleted. Yeah, I'm not doing this thing any good. I think I'm breaking it further. First time I've ever had that. Oh, it's because it's bent. Oh dear. No, it's because I dropped it. I dropped it when I was taking it apart, and that must have bent it. What else can we take apart? Let's take the hard drive apart. Now, I'm only joking. I'm not going to take a hard drive apart. We all know what happens when you do that. We can take the drive out the caddy, but I'm not taking it apart. But basically, this is just the Seagate U Series 5. Exact model is ST310211A. 8 gigabytes. Basically bog standard PC drive. This is my favourite one. I like the little rubber sort of thing it's got on it. It's really nice. Dampens the vibration, but not the noise. Still makes some noise. So this is the rest of the thing. It's the totally unnecessarily replaced power supply. I don't know why I replaced it, but I just did. And there's the fan that's been... There's the only part that worked. 100%. This fan has never failed me. It's probably a... What is this? Yeah, Microsoft says no fan information for you, and they've covered it with a black sticker. It's probably an NMB fan, or a Delta. I think those are the only two fans we use, NMB Matte and Delta. But yeah, then you just got the little PCB for the USB, which is the controller ports, front panel connector, power, IDE. That's all you need in an Xbox. It's the world's most simple, basic PC. Let's go back to the motherboard and see what we can do. Because what I really need right now is someone with knowledge about how this chip goes back on. Oh, switching devices, gotcha. Oh, there were 0 people viewing anyways. So, what have we learned? Don't live stream, it's not worth it. YouTube just hates people, you know. All they want to do is keep the big people on the site and smush the little guys. Because after all we're doing is taking up valuable space on their system. I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube turned around one day and said, right, anyone who's not famous, get off the platform. And then that's basically the death of YouTube right there. Everyone's moving on. Well, see you later. Thanks a lot. Don't come back. I've got some good news. I've cleaned up the solder pads on the PCB. They look clean, they look fresh, and they look great. And it still reads 0. I'm very sorry, Monk, but you're still not showing up. But that's good. So we've cleaned up the little solder pads. I don't see any bridging. Maybe a little bit here. It's a very, very minute. Yeah, just a tiny bit, but that can be cleared up with wick. That's not a problem. But really, it's just this little chip. I don't know. Should I get rid of it or should I keep it? Because these fail, but at the same time, I don't know if this one's bad. It'd be a waste throwing away a good chip, just because of it was dirty. I wonder how the Xbox would react to not having one attached. Is flux conductive? Well, even if I don't know if these pads are bridged or not, so I really don't want to risk damaging the thing further. Because all these thermal lines link into the MCPX Southbridge chip. If I cook that, then that's game over, because I'm pretty sure they're all paired to every Xbox. Or are they? I don't know. I don't know these things. I'm not an expert on consoles. I just like ripping things apart and seeing if I can fix them. I have absolutely no stand on anything. I have no particular expertise except in maybe computer disassembly and reassembly, which is fun. I like replacing whole components. I can put 5 of those into one repair, but soldering is really not my strong suit. So we're not too sure about that. I've been going for 1 hour and 3 minutes apparently. But other people have been going for like 8 hours sometimes. But I'm not doing this for 8 hours. Upon one point I'm going to give up. But the thing is, I don't know if I should come out, because I don't know if that will kill the stream if I check the usual resources for all this stuff. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm absolutely clueless. I would change my tips out, but I've only got one soldering tip. Those are my best jeans. Unacceptable. Oh, do I? I'm pretty sure I have tips, but I'd have to turn the iron off to switch them over. Let me have a look. No. Not in the box. I think they were in the box, but I took them out maybe when I was setting up. Did I put them there? No. Nope. No tips. No flux. No IPA. Well, I've got flux. No IPA. No common sense. And no tight. I hate these shoes. Screw these shoes. Take the shoes off. Even though, actually, no, it's probably not a good idea to do that when I'm working around hot soldering lines. I at least want a layer of protection. But I hate these shoes. Well, we have proved that we can't fix anything numerous times, if soldering is involved. I can fix things by swapping the entire motherboard out, no problem, but that's not a fix. That's called hiding from the real problem. And I would plug this in, but again, I don't trust it. And even if I did plug this in, it would probably still do the same thing it was doing before this, because it can't detect the thermal sensor chip, so it defaults at 128 degrees. It doesn't have an input. It can't turn around and say what is the current temperature, because the chip's not there. It's going to say, oh, I'm just going to assume it's 128 degrees and turn off. So that's probably what's causing it. I don't think this cap that's mildly corroded is causing any problems. I mean, one side is black, one side is silver. Take that how you wish. Now I can understand why people don't actually like me. But whatever. They can laugh now, but I'll be replacing them in about 3 years' time. Maybe even longer than that. Let's get rid of the tissue residue. That's the thing, when flux dries it gets hard, so things stick to it. The only real way to get rid of flux is to heat it up and then mop it up with a towel. Which I could do right now, actually. That's probably why it wasn't mopping up correctly. Let's get the tissue paper back. No, that's just gonna stick it in. Oh! I think I've just vented a cap. I think I just vented a cap, a lot of smoke. Oh, Jesus Christ. Am I trying to burn the house down or something? I hate everything. I hate this I hate the iron. I hate my skills. I can't do anything. Like, there's absolutely... I mean, if Joey Does Tech had some issues with motivation when everything he kept buying was completely unfixable, then I have no chance. I'm not sure what cap I vented, but it was one of them. One of these big ones here. So that's ruined something. Hey, at least it didn't go bang. That's a benefit. So I think I'm probably going to stop at some stage. I would try soldering this back on, but there's no point. There's just no fresh solder on the pins. Or maybe there is, I don't know. But I don't have a tweezer to poke it into position, so... At least I don't care what orientation it's in, I'm just going to solder it down so I don't lose it. But we're not plugging this in. In fact, I'm not going to plug the power back in, so that even if I press the power button by accident whilst it's plugged into the mains, it's not going to switch the console on because there's no main power connected to anything. So... the thing is, did I vent a cap? Because I don't smell electrolytic juice anywhere. Are some caps silent and deadly? Oh jeez. Yeah, that's attached. Probably just attached via dried flux and not actual solder, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to look at this anymore. I'm finished. I'm done. Putting this back together. Although I do think it is actually attached by solder. Again, do I care? No, because I've killed one of the caps. Yeah, one of them is slightly taller than the rest, so I think, yeah, one did vent. It's a Nichicon as well. So I've just killed a really good cap. So we're just going to put this back together, and we're not going to look at it ever again. We're going to put this to the back of the shelf. I'm not taking this out for the next 20 years. And I'm going to look at it and say, oh wow, I remembered trying to fix that, and that was an absolute nightmare. I would have had better luck streaming the flipping super gluing of plastics. And everyone loves watching glue dry. I should just leave the repair community, just like I did with the vintage Mac community. I can't fix vintage Macs. I can't own vintage Macs. I don't know how. I've messed up those. I think I've broken every single Mac I have, except the eMac, because it's an absolute tank. But I've never had to take the eMac apart, so that's pretty why it works fine. I've just lost a screw. Yeah, I don't know why. I basically haven't changed since I was very young. The only skill I've gained is the ability to put things back together again. All I can do is take things apart and break them. So if anyone's watching that wants a worked on original Xbox to fix live, then go right ahead, it's right here. I will happily send this in a cardboard box filled with lead pellets just to weigh it down. Preferably I'll hire Ace Ventura to deliver it so that it gets a good few kicks. Then again, I don't know why I'm torturing the device even further. It's my fault. My skills and my tools killed it. No, then again, technically it killed itself because its cap leaked all over the board. So Microsoft is to blame. But then again, even Microsoft isn't to blame because they didn't make the capacitor in-house. They ordered in a whole batch of PowerStore aerogels. So it's PowerStore aerogel that's to blame, but even they wouldn't blame because they didn't think people would be still using these Xboxes 20 billion years after they were built. They expected all these to be at the bottom of a landfill with toasters and microwave ovens. Because no one really expects these things to live on. That's why Apple tries to kill off their older devices, because they're like, no. Stop using the iPhone 4. We've released the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Why do you need the 4? Get rid of the 4. Fine, you won't get rid of the iPhone 4, we'll get rid of it for you. We'll send ninjas to the house. But the only point is to break in, get the iPhone and dispose of it. And leave you a new iPhone 12. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo did that with their console. Send in the Nintendo ninjas to retrieve all the Wiis. We want everyone to have Switches in their house. Retrieve all the old consoles. Send in the ninjas. I hate this screw right by the power supply, because one wrong move and I'm sticking my screwdriver right into the primary coil of the transformer. Whatever this large amount of copper's for, I don't know. I don't know how power supplies work, I just send them off to get fixed, because I can't, obviously I can't fix them myself. Not plugging this in, because we'll break it if we do. But yeah, I've vented a cap and I've messed things up. But thank God I haven't lifted any pads, so the PCB is safe. The PCB is good. Good condition. Put the power supply... Put the fan back in, not the power supply. The fan. At least the fan still works. It's a very expensive hairdryer. I've made something new. Only joking. Oh yeah, of course. I don't want to lose the confidence. I want to gain the confidence. But realistically, when you've got a soldering iron that only cost you 63 quid, if I remember correctly, you're not going to get very far. But then again, people in China use these all the time, and it's the skills, it's the lack of adequate tools, it's the lack of... I think the lack of skills is the thing, and it's just the nervousness, it's the fear of being judged, I think, is the problem here. But you know, this is probably why, when I don't record repairing things, when I just do them just out of whim, I'm just like, oh, we could do that, I'm not going to bother filming it, it's just not going to be interesting. It goes fine, it goes really well. I can fix anything when I'm not got 18 million lenses pointed at me. Hell, I can fix a camera without the lens pointing at me, because then I'll get anxious thinking, is that filming me? But, no, that's not the problem. The problem is with me, and I don't have any skills. And the thing is I would, because I think Lewis Rossman does do a sort of school on soldering, and you can bring your own devices in and you can be coached on how to fix the problem. But the problem is that's in New York, and I'm here, so I can't do that. That's out of the question. There needs to be a school of soldering. Electronics repair school is not a school. What is he teaching you? Absolutely nothing. He's just fixing things and rambling about them. I'm not even going to bother plugging the IDE cable back in. I should just go in there. But that's the thing. It's just there's no real hope, really, because all these things that are like, oh yeah, we teach repair. You don't teach repair. It's just the stuff in your workflow. You're not teaching anybody. You're just doing your own job, saying, oh, I do this. This is how I put cap on. This is how I check for sure. How do you check for sure? Tell step by step, you know. First you switch your multimeter to this setting, make sure it's good, tap the legs together. Is it beeping? It is beeping. We're going to check if this is shorted. It is indeed shorted. This is the problem. Or maybe it's not the problem. Take the cap off, inject voltage there. Is it heating up anywhere else? No. In that case, yes. That's the fault. Replace it, boom, we're back in business. But no one does that. Because YouTube is like, oh, no, the video is longer than something or other, don't really pull in very well. Well, we're not going to bother, let's not do that. And that's and another problem. They suppress smaller creators. So how are we, the little guys, supposed to take off? We can't. Other than me just rambling into a camera with 0 viewers. Or 2. Better than 0. I'll take 2. One of these days I will improve, but that day is a long, long way away. When I can afford an Atom and one of those fancy-ass microscopes with the camera, and once I learn OBS, and have an actual dedicated spot, because I'm literally borrowing the space. I don't have a workbench at home anywhere. I don't have the space for a workbench at home, so that's a problem. That doesn't even go in. That doesn't even go in first. It goes in second. Does anyone happen to have an original Xbox version 1.1 motherboard that works perfectly fine and has a hard drive with it? Thank you. Because this thing I think is now just a parts donor. I've ruined it. Also, I think I can say I've ruined it all I want, but have I really? I haven't pulled any traces. I think the worst I've done is killed a capacitor by poking too much heat on it. And let's face it, how many people have done that in their lives? Everyone has. Everyone's blown up a cap at least once. Either on purpose or by accident. Sometimes it's fun to just blow up caps. So where's this hard drive? It never slots in properly. But the repairs I like, and the one thing I did that was really well was the bumper PC repair, where I had like a whole stack of computers with various faults. And I went through them, and it was mostly just a rebuild, swap parts sort of thing, and that I had fun doing. Even though I recorded it with a really old Sony Handycam HD video camcorder, which actually was a lot better than the phone I was using at the time. Because my old phone would just corrupt any video that you'd feed into it. You could take a really nice picture, really nice photo of some daisies, and all that would come back is a half-filled, well, the screen half green and half filled with graphical garbage. And you're like, that was a beautiful photo I took, and you ruined it, and that flower is never going to grow back ever again. Thanks a lot. Screw you. So that's why I don't like using the camera on my phone. However, I have a new phone now, a Google Pixel 7. Quite a nice device, I quite like it. And it's my first Pixel device, so it is it is properly proving itself in the field. It is really good with photos, it's good with videos, it's great with live streaming. We haven't dropped out once, I don't think. But that's because I've got 100% battery life, 100% Wi-Fi. I'm in the prime spot. This should be my new workbench, but I have to borrow it because realistically, what's supposed to be done on this is sewing and pre-cut and a bunch of things way more interesting than what I'm doing right now. I'm pretty sure David Attenborough talking about aardvarks is more interesting. If need be, then you can watch Planet Earth 3 on BBC iPlayer if you so wish. That's not going on properly. I think what I've done is I haven't seated the hard drive properly. But yeah. Oh wait, you have to be in the UK to do that, and you need a TV license, so maybe not. Maybe don't do that. But yeah, there's more interesting things out there. There's Gordon Ramsay cooking things, and there's the coder who actually knows how to fix things. He's far more interesting, and he does new things that are in demand that people actually want, rather than 25-year-old Xboxes that no one gives a crap about and they all really need to be recycled. And that he doesn't waste his time gluing up 40-year-old plastics on old beige compact laptops, which I must admit, that thing looks absolutely gorgeous sitting on that bench. Oh, it's just a beautiful design. Whoever designed the compact LTE, I salute you, sir. I really should have plugged the IDE back in. That is probably what is preventing the thing going back on, but I can't do anything about that. Well, the hard drive is seated. Something else is stopping the top cover going back on. Is it these ID... Molex and IDE are different things. Is it the Molex wires that are stopping? Hey, yeah, oh yeah, fine, we've got other people here, yes. UK camera is also slipped the wrong way. Oh no! You're telling me that I've been in portrait landscape this whole time. I've been trying to fix an original Xbox 1.1, unfortunately. Yeah, you go on then, Monk. I can make you a add as moderator. Just standard moderator, I don't need anything fancy. Oh, sorry, it's fixable, just pop some pics on the forum Discord, yeah. I could do that, but I think what's better off is I need to probably make this a, so I can't read, because everything was sideways, unfortunately. I've ruined everything. Oh well. Just swap the CPU. I don't think there's anything wrong with the CPU. It boots up, a picture shows on the screen and everything, it just gets to a point and then it shuts itself off because it thinks it's running at 128 degrees. Which, no, because if it was at that, all the solder would melt, so... Yeah. But yeah. All I need is to replace that chip, the one I took off, the chip that's broken. Replace that chip and it should boot up fine. There's another problem in the DVD drive with the resistor packs, but I think instead of taking the whole resistor off, what I'm going to do is I have a sneaky plan. I'm going to solder one end of a resistor to the pad on one side of the pack, and then solder another wire on the other side, and have a resistor shrink wrapped in the middle of that value, a 47 ohm resistor. And that is gonna just trick the. It's a hack job, but who cares? It's an easier fix than trying to muck around with SMD packs, whatever the name is. Oh, I think I've been putting the top cover on backwards. That's why it wouldn't go on. Oops. Oh well. Yay! Put it back together. So that's taken care of. I'm not going to end it right now, because there's lots of other things I can do now that I can read everything. And it's at the right orientation. The only problem is does it show up normally on computers? Because normally everyone watches streams on their laptops. So is this like wide, or is this like a small box with two giant black bars on either side? I hate those black bars. I should just call them peasant bars, because you always know that whoever's got that is a peasant who can't afford decent camera equipment. Oh, that's me. I mean, if I had the ability to link all of my camcorders via AV out into like a switcher, which would... It's long white bars. Oh, There's probably a reason why I only have 2 viewers and 5 likes. Because no one watches portrait videos. I don't know where that came from. What's wrong with portrait? It works fine on mobile, but for users who use computers, I can understand that being quite irritating. But oh well, can't do anything about that, I'm afraid. But that's a thing for the future. So don't stream on phone. Just use things. Oh, so they're basically just your alts then, Monk. I know YouTube will eventually get rid of them because they don't like botted likes, so they'll probably disappear back to 1. But I can live in the moment. Live in the moment that I've got 2, maybe 3. And then they always go up after the stream is finished because people are like, yeah. Let's just put all these screws back and put the Xbox to one side. I plan to leave it here anyway, so once I've got parts and whatnot, we can revisit it. So you, my friend, can go in the cupboard. There. What can we do instead then? I suppose I could look at the compact. Turn that off. Don't need any of that running anymore. Yeah, so here's the compact. It's a ex-NatWest banking laptop that was recycled, and I found it and I was like, oh, this is cool. I can't let that die, so I saved it, and it's really nice. None gone so far. Well, I mean, they won't go now. They'll go later. Once they latch onto the fact that they aren't genuine. Well, I think they only remove them from inactive accounts, so as long as those accounts are active, then it should be fine. So yeah, this is the compact LTE 52. I don't know. I think it's a 5280. I'm not too sure. The NatWest logo covers the actual. So the fixes I've done basically are on the back. These little screw mounts had the plastic had sheared off, and that was a problem. Another repair I did was one of the switches on the side. That's the floppy drive. This one on this side. This grey latch here. It's for the battery release mechanism. That had snapped after me trying to release the battery. I just put too much force into it and I destroyed it. And the reason that had failed because finally silence. The reason that had failed is because another mechanism in there had failed, where it was like a threaded insert and had a plastic over the top, and that had obviously crumbled from age. So once I've done that, it's beautiful, super smooth now. It was a mix of hot glue and super glue, so hopefully that should work. I'm doing the old Soldering method for hinges. So yeah, I fixed these 2 little tabs here. Fixed a little tab on the side that had snapped off. That was now been glued back. One of the connectors I forgot to plug back in the last time I unplugged it, so that's now back in. And this is basically just a fully working computer again. I just got to get the battery recelled, and I can take this to Starbucks and do word processing and play Doom. There's not really much else you can do with a Windows 95 laptop. Put some money in my bank account. No, I can't. No, I can't. That is your problem, unfortunately. That's a USB hub. No one wants to talk about USB hubs. What geek would be interested in those? Here's an RM laptop. It's a 5200N, which is a rebadged Asus. It's nothing spectacular. It is literally just an Intel Centrino Windows XP sub notebook. It is nothing spectacular, but I like it. The problem with this is, well, the battery's naff and the screen is absolutely obliterated. I'm not sure if you can make that out, but there are some funky patterns going on in behind this display assembly. Conveniently, some of the little small IBM ThinkPads use the same monitor, so I'm going to take those and shove them in there. Hopefully. It's an ID Tech LCD, so hopefully I'll get one of those by the end of the year and we can fix this one, so that's fun. So that's on the list of things to be fixed. We've also got this heap of crap. It's this modern laptop. It's an Acer or Jade if you look at it upside down. It's a Core i3, so it's not as crappy as the other one I have, which is a Celeron. That's probably why I didn't throw this one away, because I was going to just nab the screen out and bin it. But the rest of it, keyboard is in good health. It's actually very, very clean. I feel bad about stealing the LCD out of it, but it is just a thing. It's missing a couple of its standoffs, which are taped at the back. Need to glue those back in with some hot glue, because that is what holds standoffs in. It's not super glue. That doesn't work. But yeah, I think this actually has a working battery. See if it boots up. It doesn't. I didn't bring a charger with me either, so I can't even test any of these systems further, which sucks. Got some tablets as well. We've got this Samsung Galaxy Tab 4. Nothing wrong with it. It's just old, and I wanted to get rid of it, so it's now mine. This actually showed up in a previous episode of Let's Fix It back in 2022, I think. It's episode 3, I believe. I think it's episode 3. Yeah, it's an Apple iPad 3rd generation where I've replaced the digitizer. I say replace the digitizer. It really should just be poorly replace the digitizer, because this is barely attached. But it works, so I'm not complaining. It's by no way a professional repair, but previous owners were happy. And here is one of my working laptops. There's nothing actually wrong with this one. It's HP. Nothing wrong with HP. A lovely little bit of HP. This is the good HP. So this is an HP Compaq NX6110. Oh, I've actually pronounced the model number properly for once. I used to call it 6110, but it's 6110. It's a Pentium M notebook. It's weird it doesn't say Centrino like the rest of them. This one just says Pentium M. So maybe this is a special one. Nothing wrong with it. A little bit of dirt in the RAM slots that cause it to have weird graphical artifacts on boot. No, it doesn't have a GPU, doesn't have anything like that. It doesn't have any flexing issues like the ThinkPads did. Much. Best trackpad buttons I've ever used. I love these. These are the best things I've ever tapped on in my life. Keyboard is okay. It's 2000s spec, not too bad. It's got a DVD drive. Yeah, DVD-ROM, CDRW, rewritable. Fancy. I can get accessories for my notebook, like a dock and a battery and a big bag. Don't need that. It has a mobile data protection system, so if you drop it, you can't kill your hard drive. Well, you can, because I did, and that's how I broke the original hard drive. And then I left it in the shed to rot. I really do care for my collection, don't I? When I just lob them around and I don't seem to want to have anything to do with them. You know how much RAM it's got? I forgot. Battery's dead in all of these. I haven't charged any of this stuff in ages. I haven't actually touched this stuff in ages. 32 MX64 SD RAM, 256 megabyte. So 512. It's got 512 megs of RAM. So it's a bit naff really. It needs to be upgraded. But I can keep the old RAM around for other computers. So I'll keep that. It's got a Broadcom wireless adapter that is absolute dog shit. It's terrible. I hate it. I hate Broadcom. I hate them as a company. I hate their adapters. I hate anything to do with Broadcom. I want them to go out of business so I can gloat. And I can go to the offices that are now vacant and I can spit on the ground and say, ha, there you go, Broadcom, you deserve to die, you cheap bastard. Oh no. There's 3 screws I've got to put back in the Xbox. I'll do that later, I can't be asked. Can't be asked. Could take some more things apart, but I don't want to take the Compaq apart again. That's staying together until something breaks again, obviously. But one thing I'm really proud of is there's a little door on the front which hides the hard drive. That broke off and I was really sad about it because I'm like, oh, that's what makes the LT special. It's just, mine's now all of the other ones with the broken door because the doors fail quite frequently. Tiny dab of super glue, that's all it took. And it works. A little bit stiffer than the original, but it's a door. It works. Latches fine. Unlatches fine. Covers the hard drive. And the stupid tapey thing I had to jerry-rig in place. Because I was a moron, I didn't know you had to pull a little tab under to pull the hard drive out. I was just yanking it thinking, oh, why is this so stuck in? Oh, I broke the tab off. That's because there's a switch I didn't notice because it was under some duct tape. Yeah, I don't know what the previous owner did. They put duct tape because they lost the cover for the CMOS battery. So they taped it over. So that duct tape did come in handy. I cut it up into small pieces and it's now all over the computer, covering up things. So that's good. So I think with that, I'm going to probably just wrap it up here. And by that, I got up to 5 viewers the moment I mentioned wrap it up. What a surprise. I wonder if that's the YouTube algorithm doing things. And they're not real viewers. Oh, no, I can't say that. They'll disappear because I think I'm calling them fake. If they're real people, welcome. You've just missed the Xbox repair, or should I say Xbox accidental destruction, because it was a nightmare and I hated every second of it. But right now, I'm just standing here with my HP computer and in a room that I had to borrow temporarily. I'm going to put the cap on my flux. Yeah, it's a room I had to borrow temporarily because it was a small problem. I've got a weak cold as well, so that's probably not a good idea to do things, but at some stage we're going to wrap things up here because there's not really much else I can talk about or do because I don't have any real tools or parts or things I can fix. Otherwise this would just be a workload day. Here's my workload, here's me fixing a whole bunch of things. I'll just do it Soren style. Except even Soren has better equipment than me. But there's one thing he doesn't have. The ability to fix Nintendo Switches without ripping all the pads off. Oops. Did I say that out loud? My bad. Yeah, but that's me, basically. We've got all these machines that I need to now take back home, because they're the ones that I can fix easily, or they don't need fixing at all. The 2 computers that are still in the cupboard, 3 if you include the desktop, well, desktops, there's nothing wrong with the desktop. I think the power supply might have been taken from it, but I think it does boot. No, power supply was replaced. Power supply works fine. PCs, nothing wrong with the desktop. There's 2 laptops in there. There's an HP and an Acer, and both of those are pretty smashed up. And I'm saving those for an episode of Extreme Laptop Restorations, where we're gonna change all the broken bits, fix up the motherboards, and get them going. Or replace the motherboards if they're too far gone. I'm not against any of them, but it's basically just my series of wasting money on completely destroyed computers that no one cares about. So with that, I'm going to bid you all adieu. I'm going to let my soldering iron cool down before it burns the house down, because that would be a tragedy, wouldn't it? I'd have to claim insurance. Yeah, but that's everything. I hope you enjoyed, or didn't enjoy, or found it humorous. I don't care. My suffering is humorous. But yeah, everyone, that's me, basically. We're all done here. Thank you all for watching. Leave a subscribe, leave a like. It really helps the algorithm say, hey, maybe I'm not completely useless. And maybe next time we'll get a little bit an easier repair. Something that's just a simple hard drive swap, or maybe a stack of computers that just need some parts. But we'll do that. I think I'll get some parts in and we'll just have another stream where I'm just putting the screens in and doing stuff. We'll do something easy. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for the 7 likes. And yes, stay tuned. Watch this space because there's going to be new stuff coming. Farewell.